The average retailer can actually have turnover of their workforce over 100% a year. Without a doubt, the longer that you can keep your team members in place, the more experience they have, the more knowledge they have, the more committed they are to the retailer. So it's always a good thing to have a long-term team member stay with you as opposed to spending the money to recruit and train and try to retain somebody new to the company. Retail has been impacted as much as any industry, maybe more than many industries, by technology. Keep in mind, years ago, when retail had a different business model, when it was simply putting product on a shelf and customers would come get it, you had a very small group of people that could really run a retailer. And then the rest of the people in the company would actually just execute what they were being told. But now, as retail has become much more democratized and e-commerce and digital has allowed people to shop from the convenience of their phone anywhere in the world, now customers are expecting a solution. And when that happens, you need a workforce that's trained, that's motivated, that's experienced, that's happy, that's having fun. And that's a challenge that retailers can struggle with today, especially when there's a shortage of workforce. The benefit of reducing turnover is a tangible, quantifiable financial benefit, in addition to be a strategic benefit. So by reducing turnover, you save money from recruiting. You save money from training. You save money from teaching cultural fit into the company. You also will typically generate more sales because by reducing turnover, you have a more experienced person. They know more about what you sell. They know more about the company. You'll typically create a better culture in the company because someone has been there and they're part of the team and they like their teammates and their teammates like them. So these are all very tangible, quantifiable benefits. And then strategically, to deliver your purpose to a customer, to have that kind of employee that's been around longer and knows more about what you're trying to do and is happy in what they're doing, you know, the likelihood of delivering that strategy, that purpose, goes up dramatically. So this isn't a philosophical benefit. This is something that you should see tangibly, and you should actually see it very quickly by reducing that turnover. There's a lot of things that retailers need to do to stay focused on reducing that turnover rate, but it's only through a concerted effort of good communication, competitive wages, but more importantly, offering a purpose that retailer serves and bringing their workforce into that purpose and giving that workforce tools that they can not only contribute to what the company, the retailer, is trying to achieve, but actually they can better themselves as well. And I believe fundamentally that the old-time paradigm that the workforce in a retail company is simply an expense line on a P&L is old school. Successful retailers today are looking at it as an investment, and they have to invest as aggressively as they can to make that workforce better, and that's how they will improve business. So it's not a choice of either or, it's to have a successful business, I have to have a successful workforce. If I don't have that successful workforce, my business won't be successful long term. Retailers have to change their workforce. They cannot simply rely on what used to be called the merchant prince to go out and find that new best product. And if they can find that best product, that will distinguish them. Now the workforce themselves becomes the brand ambassador for that retailer, and they become a group that needs investment in training and retention and recruiting of the very best that's out there. And that, again, it's an exciting opportunity, but it's a challenging opportunity for retailers, especially today in a very competitive hiring market. So if you want to be a CEO, you've got to have your priorities straight, and often your own personal objectives are not at the top of that list. It's the objectives of what's right for the company and for the people that work in the company. And if you treat the people in your company well, and you invest in them, and you communicate to them, and you give them a purpose that they can believe in and they can buy into, and that could be a purpose that the company serves. It can also be a purpose just to help that employee better themselves, whether it's a new skill set that that employee can benefit the company with, but in fact, the employee takes with them later on in life when they leave that employer and potentially go somewhere else. Learning can take place in lots of different forums. And years ago, my learning was on-the-job learning or by observing someone. And now, companies that are really doing a good job of investing are providing structured learning opportunities. And one of the things about InStride is it facilitates that. That's one of the critical things that the benefits of an InStride program. But when you look at a retail workforce, it can be tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people wide. So the easier you can provide it for the retailer, and the retailer does better marketing, the more take rate you will get as well. And then making it as easy as you can for the employee and as well targeted to that employee. So you may find a frontline workforce isn't interested in going back for a college degree. They may be more interested potentially in a high school degree if they haven't got one. Or they may be more interested in some type of certificate program that allows them to take a step ahead in their career and provide value to that employer, to that retailer, but it's not necessarily a college degree, and it's also a lower cost. For a company like InStride to work with companies to provide that type of training, it democratizes that opportunity for people. So it's not just provided to the narrow group who are able to pursue a college education. It provides an opportunity to a far broader base of people, and that broader base of people really the backbone of retail. That's why this effort is so important for retail. I grew up of very modest means. And I was blessed I had a good family, but we had no money when I was growing up. So I've had the good fortune of working really hard and having some good luck, and I was blessed to be successful in my career and very proud of what I've accomplished. I believe it is part of my responsibility now to put a hand out to others and help them achieve, if they want, some of the same successes that I've had. And I think part of what InStride's purpose is to provide those educational opportunities to people. And I think that is fundamental. And I believe in that. And I believe that people in InStride believe in that passionately as well. There's a business aspect to it, but everybody is committed to doing what's right to this workforce.